In the heart of Africa, as the 19th century drew to a close, a nation stood defiant against European colonialism. Ethiopia, a land of ancient history and proud traditions, became a symbol of resistance against the scramble for Africa. Under the leadership of Emperor Menelik II, Ethiopia prepared to defend its sovereignty and independence. The impending clash between Ethiopia and Italy, a rising colonial power, was about to unfold on the battlefield. This confrontation, known as the Battle of Adwa, would become a defining moment in African history. The Ethiopian victory at Adwa resonated far beyond the Horn of Africa. It shattered the myth of European invincibility, inspiring resistance movements across the continent. The victory served as a powerful reminder that unity, determination, and strategic brilliance could overcome even the most formidable of foes. The latter half of the 19th century witnessed intense European competition for territories in Africa, known as the Scramble for Africa. Driven by economic ambitions and political rivalries, European powers embarked on a quest to partition and colonize Africa. The Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885, convened by Otto von Bismarck, formalized the rules for this colonial enterprise. European powers divided Africa with little regard for existing boundaries. This conference legitimized the carving up of Africa, setting the stage for decades of colonial rule. African societies were torn apart, their resources plundered and their cultures disrupted. The arbitrary borders drawn continue to impact modern Africa, contributing to political instability and ethnic tensions. The legacy of colonialism casts a long shadow over the continent, a stark reminder of the human cost of imperial ambition. The seeds of conflict between Ethiopia and Italy were sown in 1889 with the signing of the Treaty of Wuchale. The treaty, written in both Italian and Amharic, contained discrepancies that would have significant repercussions. The Italian version stipulated that Ethiopia was obligated to conduct its foreign affairs through the Italian government, essentially making Ethiopia an Italian protectorate. The Amharic version, however, stated that Ethiopia had the option of using Italy as an intermediary in its dealings with other European powers. Menelik II, who had ascended to the throne of Ethiopia in 1889, was determined to assert his nation's independence and resist any attempt at Italian encroachment. He viewed the Italian interpretation of the Treaty of Wuchale as a violation of Ethiopian sovereignty and a threat to the nation's independence. Menelik's resolve to resist Italian expansionism would ultimately lead to the fateful clash at Adwa. Emperor Menelik II, a shrewd diplomat and visionary leader, played a pivotal role in Ethiopia's resistance against Italian colonialism. He understood the gravity of the threat posed by Italy and the importance of uniting the Ethiopian people against a common enemy. Upon assuming the throne, Menelik embarked on a series of reforms and campaigns to consolidate his power and modernize the Ethiopian army. He sought to acquire modern weapons and train his troops in modern warfare tactics. Recognizing the importance of unity, Menelik reached out to various Ethiopian leaders, forging alliances and consolidating his authority over a nation often divided by regionalism. Menelik's diplomatic skills were also evident in his dealings with other European powers. His strategic acumen and ability to navigate the complex web of international relations were instrumental in strengthening Ethiopia's position on the eve of war. As tensions with Italy escalated, Menelik II issued a nationwide call to arms, urging his people to defend their homeland. The response was overwhelming. From every corner of the Ethiopian empire, warriors, farmers, and citizens alike heeded the call, uniting under the banner of their emperor to resist Italian colonialism. Men, women, and children contributed to the war effort, gathering provisions, transporting supplies, and providing logistical support to the Ethiopian army. Religious leaders rallied their congregations, invoking patriotic fervor and blessing the troops as they prepared for battle. The Ethiopian army, a diverse force reflecting the country's rich tapestry of cultures and ethnicities, marched towards Adwa, their spirits high with a shared sense of purpose. The Ethiopian muster was not merely a military mobilization, it was a testament to the power of national unity and shared sacrifice. This unity of purpose and unwavering resolve would prove decisive on the battlefield at Adwa. As the Italian and Ethiopian armies converged near the town of Adwa in northern Ethiopia, tensions reached a fever pitch. The Ethiopian forces, numbering in the tens of thousands, were positioned strategically in the rugged terrain surrounding Adwa. The Italian army, smaller but better equipped, was confident in its superior firepower and European military tactics. The atmosphere on the eve of battle was tense and uncertain. The Ethiopian warriors, many of whom were armed with traditional weapons like swords and spears, were prepared to fight for their land and their freedom. The Italian troops, accustomed to colonial conquests, underestimated the resolve and fighting spirit of their Ethiopian adversaries. The stage was set for a clash of civilizations, a confrontation that would test the mettle of both armies and have far-reaching consequences for the future of Africa. On the morning of March 1st, 1896, the Battle of Adwa commenced, marking a pivotal moment in the history of Ethiopia and the African continent. The Italian forces, under the command of General Baratieri, launched the first assault, confident in their superior weaponry and tactical prowess. The Ethiopian forces, however, were prepared for the Italian onslaught. Positioned strategically in the rugged highlands surrounding Adwa, the Ethiopian warriors utilized the terrain to their advantage, launching a series of counterattacks that caught the Italians off guard. The Ethiopian army, though lacking in modern weaponry, fought with unwavering courage and tactical discipline. They fiercely resisted the Italian advance, pushing back against the invaders with relentless determination. The battle raged throughout the day, a chaotic and bloody affair marked by acts of bravery on both sides. However, the Ethiopian forces, fueled by their desire to defend their homeland, began to gain the upper hand. Empress Tetu Betul, wife of Emperor Menelik II, played an instrumental role in rallying the Ethiopian people and inspiring the troops during the Battle of Adwa. A formidable figure in her own right, Empress Tetu was known for her political acumen, her unwavering patriotism, and her steadfast support for her husband's cause. Empress Tetu accompanied her husband to the battlefront, her presence a source of inspiration for the Ethiopian soldiers. She rallied the troops, reminding them of the importance of defending their homeland and their freedom. She also played a crucial role in maintaining morale, tending to the wounded, and providing encouragement to the fighting men. Empress Tetu's contributions to the Ethiopian victory at Adwa extended beyond the battlefield. Her unwavering support for her husband's vision of a strong and independent Ethiopia was instrumental in uniting the nation against Italian colonialism. As the battle raged on, the tide began to turn decisively in favor of the Ethiopian forces. The Italians, hampered by their unfamiliarity with the terrain and the ferocity of the Ethiopian resistance, found themselves increasingly on the defensive. The Ethiopian warriors, fighting with unwavering courage and tactical skill, exploited the Italians' vulnerabilities, gradually pushing them back. A crucial turning point in the battle came when the Ethiopian forces, utilizing their superior knowledge of the terrain, managed to encircle a large contingent of Italian troops. The encircled Italians, facing a relentless onslaught from all sides, were forced to surrender, dealing a severe blow to Italian morale and strategic positioning. The Battle of Adwa culminated in a resounding Ethiopian victory, shattering the myth of European invincibility and sending shockwaves across the world. The Italian army, soundly defeated, was forced to retreat in disarray, leaving behind a considerable amount of weaponry and supplies. The Battle of Adwa, a resounding victory for Ethiopia, had profound implications for the Horn of Africa and the wider world. It shattered the aura of European invincibility, inspiring resistance movements across Africa. Italy was forced to recognize Ethiopia's independence, signing the Treaty of Addis Ababa in 1896. This treaty ended Italian colonial ambitions, securing Ethiopia's independence. The victory fostered a sense of unity and pride in Ethiopia. It inspired people across Africa and the diaspora. The Battle of Adwa remains a symbol of resistance against colonialism. The legacy of the Battle of Adwa resonates in the 21st century, symbolizing African resistance against colonialism and the enduring human spirit in adversity. The victory at Adwa inspires people worldwide, showing that empires can be challenged and defeated. It holds significance for the African diaspora as a source of pride and resilience. Adwa represents triumph over oppression and the fight for freedom and self-determination. Its legacy fuels movements for social justice and equality.